Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to one of the best review shows in the universe. Yeah! I am the head protectionist, head honcho, head enchilada, open face, not rolled. Wolfman, and you are in the Starlite mini podcast coming at you live in the charts. The man who's just. I kind of fucked that up. Oh well.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Live, yes. The head mechanic, the head concession worker, Dr. Chaotic. Say hello, Doctor.
I don't really have a joke about this, mainly because I think I told this to Roy. I've never felt the most like an abuelita, or it's the gayest thing I've ever felt in my life. I have never felt as queer as I have been watching this movie, and it's for a very specific reason.
And what is that movie? Well, it is. Let me get it in position. The Ugly Stepsister 2025, $1.49. From it's a Norwegian, Swedish, Polish collaboration. Directed and written by Emilie Blichfeldt. Starring Ali Marin, Andal Torp, Thea Sophie Loknis, Flo Fajiri, Isaac Kamrov, Malte Gardinger, Ralph Carlson, Isaac Asperg, and a cast of thousands. In the fairy tale kingdom where beauty is a brutal business, Elvira battles to compete with her incredibly beautiful stepsister. And she will go to any length to catch the prince's eye. Doctor, your first thoughts.
Man, I don't. There's few movies. There's only really been one movie where I've puked, and that would be Society because of fucking Screaming Mad George. Holy shit! This one, I didn't puke, but I did get shudders and a little bit sick.
Oh,
so it's definitely a sign it's a good movie.
It is, yeah. It is.
No, yeah, because as much as it's not like a full on like gore fest.
Oh,
but when it works, oh god, it works. Oh,
this is pretty much basic retelling of the Cinderella story, really, from the Ugly Stepsister's perspective.
Yeah. There's that, but I also got a little bit of like Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, specifically with the plot about how the family's trying to marry for money, like especially at that beginning part. And I will say one big thing. I give props to the actress because like she's doing her best, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh honey, you're oh man, you're just Hollywood ugly or Stockholm ugly, I guess would be the perfect word for this.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no. And then the more and more it goes on, and it's like, oh no. Oh no.
Yep.
Like
the limits we go for beauty, which is none at all.
And the funny thing is, as well, is that I noticed this. If you did this movie slightly differently, and framed it ever so slightly differently, this would be like a teen romantic comedy.
A bit.
Because of the emphasis on beauty and the prince, and then all these little like the focus specifically on women's insecurities. It reminded me weirdly of like Greta Gerwig, weirdly a little bit like Lady Bird, Frances Ha, like those kind of movies.
Gotcha. I was thinking more in the past, Valerian Borjak. Because I grew up with Valerian Borjak, and this is definitely a Valerian Borjak film.
Yeah, I will definitely say it was also the filming, the specific way. I think maybe it's a filter. I don't know, or maybe whatever they filmed it on. Is it a filter?
I would love to know what they filmed it on, too.
because it definitely looks digital, I will say, but the filter they used, it reminded me, it was the right kind of green that reminded me of, like, for some reason the movie Tom Jones kept popping into my head, if you remember that movie.
Yeah, they were going for a Panavision with Technicolor.
Yeah. It's like there's that. There's like weirdly another one that popped in my head with some of the more surreal segments was like Valerie and her Week of Wonders and like the Sheck Summer movies. You remember?
Movies, yep.
God, if this movie had vampires, this would have been a whole nother movie.
It did have kind of a vampire.
The mom, you could argue a little bit, is a vampire. Yeah.
Well, I was going with the tapeworm, but okay.
Oh, that too. What? Would you count a tapeworm as a more vampiric thing? Like, it's definitely a parasite.
Right. In a ways, yeah.
I guess, yeah. I think it's because it doesn't really feast on blood as much.
No.
It feasts more on like food and like guts and things like that. So maybe more like zombie, I guess, like a zombie parasite, or like the worst version of this would be like what's his nuts from Brain Damage.
What's his nuts from Brain Damage?
The worm thing that when injected.
Oh yeah. It works on endorphins.
Yeah, I think his name is Elmer. I want to say.
Yeah. Elmer.
No, but yeah, a little bit of spoilers there, but yeah, there is a tapeworm.
A little bit. Because
of course,
spoilerific.
I'm not gonna lie. When they revealed that scene, I was like, "Fucking, of course it was, son of a bitch." Like, that was my eternal memory going. Like the more and more it went on, it was more like it's like it was a mix of oh god and like oh fucking really.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but more like a oh no, what are you doing? Because I will give this script props. You feel bad for Elvira and even like the beautiful stepsister at certain points, because
Cinderella,
because they don't make her like an out and out villain.
No,
like there's moments where you're like, oh, what a bitch, but also like you kind of understand. There's like the whole thing, like how dare you compare your grief to mine? If it wasn't for your mother's money, he wouldn't have ever let you in, which is a little bit like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, later on, it felt like later on, the universe itself just said fuck you to every single, both of those ladies at certain points.
It did.
Yeah. Of course, at the end of the day, with this movie generally, I imagine the subsequent theme is beauty standards are bullshit and patriarchy hurts everybody.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And there was one screenshot. I wanted to grab it so badly to get it for you.
What's that? It's
the sign for Dr. Aesthetic before they sew in the fake eyelashes.
Oh, with the coca?
Yeah. It's a sign that literally translates to beauty is pain.
Yes.
And this guy's name is Dr. Esteca or Aesthetic.
Aesthetic. Yes.
Yeah. AKA Dr. Aesthetic. And like as subtle as a brick movie.
But he does such wonderful work.
Oh yeah, with the fucking chisel straight to the goddamn nose. Oh god. Fucking the sound design on this one. Like shout out to the sound guy who
shout out to the sound design.
Cause
definitely the sound design.
Dude. Like even like the first like big like kind of goopy scene, I guess, is when they pull her braces out. The pop that happens every single time you're like, what the fuck? Because a big thing throughout this entire movie is that this takes place in fairy tale times, so more likely 1600s to 1800s.
I'm going to say 1800s Sweden.
Yeah, and specifically, I heard the director herself mention this. a lot of the silhouettes and a lot of the design was based off of 1600 to 1800 set of beauty standards, and some of it she also took from Disney's Cinderella.
Yes.
With the silhouettes in particular. So, yeah, you can see where this is going. So, a lot of the kind of processing, because essentially the big plot is that there's a family who just marries an older man, whose mom just marries an older, what they thought was an older, richer man. He then dies of a heart attack. And so, what ends up happening was that finds out they're both broke. So, when the Prince Julian, announces a ball for all virginal maidens in which he gets to choose who he's going to have a bride, it comes this massive process of how can I get more beautiful till the ball so the prince can choose me to get married.
Right.
And just, man, the lengths.
You go.
Oh, God.
All the pictures. Oh, I definitely like.
Yeah, no, go back to the one when it's her about to do things to her foot.
What, this?
Right there in the middle. No,
wait.
One more.
One more.
Right there in the middle. Right there. Look at that.
No, not that. That. There we go. That's his face of craziness.
That's fucking face. I'm like, oh God, we're about to go nuts.
We're about to go very nuts.
We kind of did.
We did. We did.
Yeah. So she goes through essentially Victorian cosmetic surgery. She gets a nose job. She gets fake eyelashes, and the big thing, which is not surgery technically, but she gets a new weight loss program thanks to her teacher, who they randomly revealed to be a lesbian. And I'm like, okay, cool, sure, why not? Roll with it.
Yeah.
And the more and more it goes, the more and more it's just like, oh no, because it's not even like the two ways you could have gone about it was either A, she's a bitch, so she deserves all the pain she gives her, and B, they treat her as sympathetic, and the more you see, the more and more she devolves, the more and more you just feel bad. They kind of did a bit of both. More on path B, if I'm honest.
I think more on path A. But because she ratted out Cinderella.
She did.
Every chance she got, she ratted out Cinderella.
This is true, but also, I can't help but look at it as seeing as sort of a product of an environmental thing and not just her as a person in general. Because you notice how much the mom sort of pushes her in that direction, pushes her.
Right.
And a lot of her problems, you can argue, were given to her by her mother.
Right.
Because I think of that one scene where she's like crying on the floor and the mother's holding her and is like, I'll get married to the prince. And I was like, she straight up says to her, honey, look in the mirror. That's not going to work.
Right.
Like, she just fucking hey. And you notice, and a big thing about the movie you'll notice is that as much as she gets into it, you notice her hesitating, and it's always the mom that pushes, like, no, go do it.
Well, I mean, look at what's at stake.
Yeah, and it sort of reminds me of Doc's getting a random intellectual here, but it reminds me of a book I've been reading on and off by Jeanette McCurdy called
Books?
Mother of God, I know. Rough reads books, son of a bitch. No, she wrote a memoir called I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Right. And
one of the big things about it is that her mom, Jeanette McCurdy, for those of you who don't know, she was a big child actor, specifically in Nickelodeon around mid 2000s, early 2010s. She was Roy, I know what you're thinking. She was in iCarly, so she did deal with Dan Schneider. She was one of her.
Okay.
And the thing is that her mom was a massive, like, stage mom. She was.
I see.
She was rolling into it. So much so that in the prologue of the book, she talks about how her mom ended up in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people are trying to get her awake. And she looks at her mom, comatose, and says, I got down to 98 pounds just like you want. No, it was 89. I got down to 98 pounds just like you wanted, Mama.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of, when you think about this, I think she might have been like 7. So the fact is that you have this poor little girl watching her mom in a coma. And the thing she thinks about to wake up is, I got down to 89 pounds. And you're like, wait, what? And then you look through the book and it's like, oh, no wonder you call that book that. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing here, which is like, as much as I'm not taking full fault away from Elvira, because she definitely, at the end of the day, it was her choice to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but feel like she kind of got pushed into it, and that's why I don't really hate, like she's not unlikable. It's just that her situation is just unfortunately pushing her into a direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even
survival.
So. Yeah, and like even like with Cinderella, like yeah, she has more of the bitchy moments, and especially you can't help but feel like when they do the full Cinderella, you can't help but feel like that was the biggest bitch move ever made.
Right.
But then you think about beforehand about how the mom treated her, and how she was essentially that was the Cinderella story, you know, with the bad stepmom and the ugly stepsister, which, you know, title of the movie. So at the end of the day, I don't hate the two kind of protagonists. I think the main antagonist is the mom, because the mom is kind of the biggest bitch.
Right.
So again, it's one of those things where it's like it kind of emphasizes sort of the worst kind of beauty standards and how they can be put on you by people you love,
and how you do it in search of survival.
Yeah.
You know, how far you're willing to go to, you know, sacrifice what others want to make sure the group can at least eat another day.
Yeah.
Have a roof over their heads.
Yeah. Also, we forget that, at least from the age they tell us later on in the movie, this poor girl is barely a young adult.
Right.
So,
but again, you got to remember, back in the day, you're like a grandpa around. You're an elder statesman around like early 30s.
True, yeah, and also
early late 30s.
That reminds me of one of my favorite lines in the movie. It was like, "Honey, look in the mirror, and we can't use your sister. She hasn't started bleeding yet." And the first line that immediately popped out of my mouth was, "We're dealing with European nobles. When has that ever stopped them?"
Oh. Bravo, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I get what you mean. But it's hard not to, because especially the way this movie frames it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as like to the world, she's an adult. To us, we see a young girl. We just see her forcing herself to do this because she thinks this is right, and she thinks this is how she'll get the love of her life, which is the prince.
Mm-hmm. Who she fell in love with through poetry, for which I don't even think he wrote that.
I wouldn't be shocked if he did. I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't.
Right.
And it doesn't really help that you get to see what the prince is like outside of his poetry, and I never thought I would see 18th century, 17th century dude bros, but here we are.
Right.
Because it's very much
brash, yes.
It's brash. Like, he has his two dumbass friends. One of them is telling him to fuck her.
And he said he wouldn't touch that thing.
Yeah, and it's like, and the thing part of me, again, that's where I went to like Dead Mother, like Nona mode, and it was like, when she leaves and still watches the guy and still has the fantasies about him, and I'm like, honey, he just said that you wouldn't fuck you to your face.
Yes.
Me, for God's sake, woman. But of course, society. I don't know.
Anything else did you like about this film? I will say I love the music.
It's definitely there, yeah. It fits the theme that we are, but I will say, just sound in general in this movie is really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you have just like the balance of the music plus the sound, like the sound effects and like little sound design moments. You can't help but like be immersed in it, even though at certain points you don't want to.
Right. You got to give a shout out for the sound design.
Yeah, oh yeah. And like, honestly, I will say, while this was kind of promoted to me as like Cinderella via body horror, and it's kind of it.
I never got that.
Well, it's very specifically because of the certain lengths they're going to and how it's affecting.
Right.
Like, it's not like a Cronenberg where it's like all mesh and gloop and body parts fucking everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that kind of real, like, general feeling of she's putting her body through hell just to satisfy something.
Right.
It's like, so kind of, okay, to go into full spoilers. Some of the processes she goes through is stuff like the movie. She starts off with braces, and they pull
the braces
out, and like there's no blood, but there's like that again. There's that sound, that pop, and you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big thing that's kind of spoiled by the poster. They do essentially a 17th century, an 1800s nose job, and by that, it's take a chisel to the fucking bridge of her nose and just wham.
Yep. And then set it with a frame.
Yeah, a brass frame, and it's like, again, that crack of bone, like it's only like a little bit of a crack, but you hear it and you're like, oh, ah. And then for the second strike, immediately after, you're like, oh, no. You feel bad.
Yeah. You're like, no, not again.
Yeah, there's that. There's, of course, we mentioned later on how one of the things that was actually hinted in the beginning of the movie, which I liked, which was the new false eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do the process, it's like, oh, it's like glue, like it's glue or something. Like, no, they put Coke to her eyelids to numb the pain, and we know it's Coke because literally it's white powder. It's derived from cocoa leaves, and after he applies to the eyelids, he takes a couple pumps.
He does a couple pumps,
and it's like, oh shit, it is cocaine. Okay, we're going there. And of course, it's the old school way of literally sewing in the fake eyelashes.
Yep.
Which you see the whole process, and you're like, oh no, it's not like, it's granted, it's not like Argento bad. We're not going full opera eye trauma.
No ocular destruction here.
Yeah, but it's still like, oh no, oh, like, Oh
yeah. Then we go to finishing school for
ballet, because
ballet,
of course. Mm-hmm. And one of the teachers, you think, and I feel bad because I guess a headmistress or something. I forget the specific role.
No, she's headmistress.
Yeah, like
they're sort of trying to help because they know for a fact that this isn't what she wanted. This is what her mom wanted. So they're trying to help her get a leg up, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, and then she gives her a little lock, and it's like, oh, sentimental thing, nice. We then find out later, with the picnic with her little sister, a tapeworm egg.
Mm-hmm.
Which she then swallows, and we see the payoff later when she ends up puking first eggs, and then a whole fucking tapeworm pulled out of her mouth, and I was just sitting there like, oh no, because like it's not like a quick thing; it's a long fucking tapeworm. So they're just pulling it out of that bitch like it was a clown who just ate fucking cloth, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh!
We're talking a long tapeworm.
Fucking, they pull the rope out of her guts. Jesus Christ!
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't help that before that, we got to weirdly one of the most faithful things to the Cinderella myth I have ever seen. Specifically, the old Grimm, old fairy tale version.
Oh, yep.
One of the things that most things cut out, but this kept in, is that one of the things that the stepsisters do, they try when they do the whole I need to find someone who fits this shoe. She steals Cinderella's shoe after looking like she's trying to kill her, which I thought that's what this was going.
Oh yeah, with a cutter, yeah.
Yeah, so she grabs the shoe. Yeah, she grabs the shoe and tries to fit it with her foot and fails. So in her insanity, she raises the cleaver and chops her goddamn toes off.
Yes.
Which I didn't even watch the full thing. I fast forward a little bit. I was like, "Oh no, come on!"
You fast forwarded, you cheater.
I did see the ending though, where the toes are like half hanging off the fucking thing because she didn't go all the way through the bone, and it's like, oh, oh no,
yeah.
And then the dark clowny moment happens where the mom and the little sister find her. And the mom looks at the whole thing and is like, sweetie, the prince has the left shoe. You cut the wrong one. So she gives her like sleeping pain meds. And then after the little sister looks at her and is like, you're not. And she's like,
I am.
The little sister was like, fuck this, and runs. Mm-hmm. And the mom, while the poor girl's passed out, she fucking does it to the other fucking foot. And it's like, oh, come on! Like, Jesus, really? And so for the last chunk of the movie, this poor woman is fucking hobbling on feet with no toes. So much so she can't
get to the door, yeah.
Down the fucking stairs. And it's like, oh, Jesus. And then, of course, the tapeworm things happens, and then it ends with the little sister saying, I am getting you the fuck out of here because this is not good.
Right. Getting you across the border.
Yeah, just like wrap her up, take the horse and fucking run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it ends. And I'm like, you know what? Fair. Like, it was a little bit anticlimactic, but it's like, you know what? I can't blame them. Fair. Like, how else is this gonna end? Just fucking run.
Right.
It also doesn't really help before that when she's stealing supplies, I guess, to like sell to make sure they have like food and stuff when they go on traveling.
Mm-hmm.
She sees the mom sleeping with someone, and like literally when she leaves, she goes literally, I guess, to suck the guy's toes. It looked like.
No.
Oh, was it going for head? Because it looked like
it was blowy. It was a blowy.
Okay. Oh, because it looked like she was massaging his feet. That's why I was like, is she about to suck her toes?
Just feet. Short way for his feet. Was he a midget?
I don't know. It's 18th century Norway. You don't know what fucking royal genetics do to the guy. I don't know.
Jesus. Let it be known that Doc miscredited a dick for a toe.
Fuck you.
No, thank you.
I will say though, I give this movie props. It goes the full spectrum of places, which I will admit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it reminded me of Borosek.
True.
Borosek
yeah.
is very. He's like, life is life. You got to film the ridiculous parts with the regular parts.
Yeah.
This person's sex. He doesn't flinch away from life.
Like, you do see poor Elvira's full naked body, like at long shots of it. It's like, again, it's that thing where it's like, if you frame this slightly differently, it would have been a teen comedy because they do the shots they would do it a teen comedy,
right?
Where like she's she's looking in the mirror, she's looking at her stomach, like she sits there bare naked and eat in stress eats, and it's like if this was like if you tweet this slightly, this could be like Marie Antoinette, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Right, I got you.
But also, my favorite thing is like, shout out to either the actual actors and actresses or the body doubles, because we see fucking in this, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yes.
Specifically, it's revealed later on that Cinderella basically has a Princess Bride love affair with the stable guy. And Elvira catches them fucking that night.
Right.
And of course, that's when she rattles her out to her mom, and just sort of shit happens, yada yada. You know, like that's when the whole Cinderella thing happens, where she's now just a housemaid and all these other things, and it's like,
right, she does all this stuff, milking the cow, cleaning the rooms.
Yeah, and the sort of thing where it's like, oh, Elvira's pretty shitty there. And it's like, yeah, but I get again, it's all towards that goal of being the apple of Prince's eye. And since the ball specifically mentions virgins, so it's one of those things where it's like, that's not you, that's your mom, sweetie. I'm sorry. Although that leads later to a scene where throughout the whole movie, Cinderella visits her dead dad, which they just have his corpse in a room because they're not paying for the funeral because the mom is spending all the cash on trying to make the stepsister pretty. And the dad's rotting corpse is there, full of maggots.
Yes.
And when she looks up, she has the fairy godmother moment with her actual dead mom. And the maggots turn into silkworms.
Yes.
And so basically design and sew her a new dress.
Yes.
So it was at that point, it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
We're getting surreal here.
Like, not even surreal. Like, I thought about it. I was like, wait, that makes no fucking sense. What's going on? And then it hit me. It's like, it's literally doing the plot of Cinderella. Okay, yes. Fair enough.
Yes.
Well, like, they even mentioned the whole pumpkin at midnight thing. I was like, okay. Like, shout out to the mom who apparently was the fairy godmother this whole entire time. Who fucking knew?
Yeah. I think that was in Grimm's. I think.
Maybe. Yeah, so the ball happens, and the plan is it's going according to plan, but unfortunately her stomach is at the end because, fucking tapeworm.
Yeah.
So after
everything's going right.
Yeah, up until after the recital, the ballet recital, which has kind of been led up through and through the movie because get it? Beauty standards. Get it?
We need to show your beauty in all forms.
Yeah. So, the whole dance is happening, and then she pulls the Cinderella pulls the Cinderella move of showing up late in this very beautiful dress, and Prince immediately catches on.
Yep.
Much to the pure pissed off version of Elvira, which I'm not gonna lie, we keep saying her name. I keep expecting Cassandra Peterson to come up like fucking Candyman every time we say it.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, Elvira. What the hell?
Yes.
I thought you were weird.
Yeah.
And so we get scenes of essentially her missing the opportunity and getting pissed about it as her mother, being the bitch that she is trying to court her with other suitors that night.
Well, you got to cut your losses, right? You gotta
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the mom don't give a shit as long as the guy's rich.
Right. But that's not who she wants.
Yeah.
That's crazy bitch behavior. Crazy bitch behavior.
Yeah. So yeah, what ends up happening is that after like dances with a couple of guys, her stomach troubles go out, and she goes to the dressing room and pukes up tapeworm eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because guess what? Fucking tapeworms do that to you.
Yes.
And then they kind of do a fast montage of the rest of the Cinderella story. You know, like she leaves the shoe there for the prince, and the prince goes on to try to find her.
Right.
And so what ends up happening is, again, then it just plays the Cinderella story almost beat for beat, which is like, you know, the steps, like the shoe fits happens. The prince is looking for the woman who fits the shoe. Mm-hmm. Stepsister then cuts off her fucking toes to try to fit in the shoe.
Right.
And of course, we don't get to see the quote unquote happy ever after, right? Because
no, the closest you get to it is Elvira seeing Cinderella
leave with the prince.
With the prince. Well, now you don't see her live with the prince. She leaves outside the door, and we hear that they find it's her.
Yeah,
Huzzah.
Yeah, and which is funny because they showed up revealing in the movie that even Cinderella doesn't like this dude.
Yeah.
Which that's the kind of thing of like that kind of fits in the theme of doing shitty stuff in sake of survival.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I imagine Cinderella would have been fine keeping fucking the stable boy.
Right.
Times are tough. Her dad's dead. Her stepmother's a bitch. What else are you gonna
do? Yeah. You might as well fuck them. You know?
Yeah. Get rich, baby.
Get rich.
So
she did fuck them.
Yeah.
She is going to get rich.
And poor Elvira, she's just sitting there walling, and then her stomach, then
you go through the whole tapeworm extraction issue.
Yeah, specifically with the little sister telling her, "Where's the antidote?" Because that's also a thing that the headmistress gives her is like, "This is when you take it, and then when you're fit and beat, we'll take this antidote, and everything will be fine."
Right.
What she neglected to mention is that antidote makes her puke guts, and they literally have to pull the multiple fucking tapeworms out of her, and it's like, oh,
yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, and literally, and it ends with the little sister who they say hasn't started the bleeding yet, which puts her in kind of a general age range of like she could be anywhere from like 10 to like 14, 15 if she's a late bloomer, maybe. Because the actress is definitely older than the implied age, but it's also like we don't know. But literally, she pulls like the other side of the Disney princess. She pulls she reminds like full on like Disney princess. Like, fuck this, we're out of here. She straight up like wraps her sister up, gets supplies, which gets us the scene with her mom, which tell for a dick,
right?
And they just straight up leave. And they just straight up leave and get to the border, and just gives us the end credit, which I can't recognize what language it is. Is it Norwegian or is it Swedish?
It's Norwegian.
Yeah, I think it's very particularly chosen because the word for "end" looks like "slut" to me.
Oh, slut. Yeah.
Yeah, slut.
It does. It does.
So so it's like, why do I feel like that was on purpose?
No, it's not.
Not fully. I know. It's the language, but it's like, are you trying to tell us something, movie? Yeah, and yeah, if nothing else, yeah, this movie is not really a slow burn necessarily, but like,
it's not very slow burn. It's methodical.
Yeah, it selects its moments wisely, I think, and honestly, for a fact that this. I don't know. I don't think this is a first time director. I just think that maybe this is one
this
of
is
her
a
first
first
movies
time
to get
director.
Really?
This is her first. Yes. That surprised me too. Hold on. I'm going to check the other big one.
Has she done anything before? Has she done anything before this? And this is like her first big like directing job, or this is like straight fresh from the industry?
Let me check. Director. Oh no, this is their sixth job. It's just she just took a lot short. This is her first feature.
Oh, okay. So her first.
She's done some shorts, yeah.
Okay, but like that's the thing. Like you gotta give her props. She nailed it very well, and I'm like, all right, shit, awesome. I would love to see what she does more because like. In a certain way, a lot of her like choices, not in the most extreme way, kind of remind me of who's the director of like Raw and Tichan and Inside. That director.
I know who you're talking about. The name escapes me right now.
Yeah, hold on, let me look her up because I know she's French and she delves into
Belgian. Raw is Belgian.
Right. Shit. Sorry, man. Anyway.
Sorry for all you waffle Europeans out there. We're still trying to work out the kinks.
Yeah. Julia de Cornell. That's her name.
Mm-hmm. Julia de Cornell. Yes.
Although, here's the thing, Roy. Weird thing is, Raw was Belgian.
Yes.
But she herself is French.
Okay, never mind then. I take that back.
Yeah, because she was born in Paris. So
gotcha.
Hey, I wasn't offending Belgians after all.
But yeah, like, fuck your pommes frites and fuck your waffles.
Oh God. So it's not even like, oh, it's so disgusting. It's more like it's specifically because the way she frames the gore in it,
right?
And B,
gets up and close with it, especially when you do the intro.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, like that. Plus, I will say the sisterly relationship did kind of remind me of Raw a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
Specifically between Elvira and her little sister.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of literally it's that one sister that's like one sister who's going through shit, and the other sister's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yes. Pull your head out of your ass. Get your mind clear. What's going on?
Yeah. So, if there's any negative, I will say the pacing is a little weird, especially the ending.
I hate the pacing.
Well, because the ending feels like it was in a rush, because they literally just like it's literally felt like the rest of this shit. Let's get to the end.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I didn't think that was bad though.
True, but also it's like it'll feel a little weird watching for the first time, especially because this is a $1.49. It's a little under 2 hours, so it feels like, oh, okay, we're at the ending now. And it doesn't really help also is that there were certain points, at least in my brain, where it's like, okay, this is getting to the climax. And I was like, oh, wait. But then I look at the running time and I was like, wait, we still have 20 minutes?
Yes.
And I was like, huh, okay. And like, even I expected the ball to be the end. And I was like, okay, it was cool. I was like, wait, that was only 10 minutes?
Yes.
So it's like
ball being.
I mean, true, but also it's like it's the thing they've been building up to throughout most of the movie. So you cannot but feel like everything was going to end there. But right. And that's why that plus like the rushed ending, the rushed rest through the story, and I was like,
again, I didn't think it was rushed. It was just truncated.
I guess like that's the way to look at it. I feel like because, and again, also the ending, while it fits, it is sort of anticlimactic.
A bit,
because it's literally like.
But then again, to me, the ending is like, just get me out of this hell. It's
True.
just wallowing in your own loss, and you're like, yeah, I'm fucking done. Let's get out of here.
True, yeah, and it's also that question of where the fuck else do you go?
Right.
Like, unless she pulls like a full like Silence of the full like Ed Gein chops up Cinderella and wears her face. Because I legitimately, I'll be honest.
That where you go with that? Wow.
Maybe, but also, like, in my head, it feels like the way it was going, it felt like she would have went nuts and this would have turned into a revenge movie at the end.
Okay.
Where, like, she kills Cinderella and then, probably for good measure, kills the fucking prince. In fact, I was kind of... for good measure, I was kind of rooting for it a little bit near the end. I was like, I hope to God she commits regicide because that would be so funny. But...
Right. Can't do it with no toes.
Yeah, that's yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sucks because, like, I thought that would have been a great, crazy enough ending, but it's like, I get it. Because, like, if the whole thing is life doesn't have a fairy tale ending, you can't really do the fairy tale ending, even if it's the alternative way of doing it. Kind of like Pearl and X, where there's bodies all around and she's still just smiling like she's the star of the show.
Right.
Or, like, what's another good example? Like, I'm trying to think of, like, movies that have, like, a fairy tale ending, but it's kind of, like, twisted and fucked in a way.
Movies that have a fairy tale ending, but it's twisted. Joker?
Joker is one, definitely. Did Natural Born Killers have one?
Kinda, yeah.
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 So, like, I thought that's the way it was going to go, but then when it actually happened, I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it might be a problem, but it's also like, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, it felt like it fit there.
Yeah.
That was the only way you're going to go.
Yeah, like, it doesn't really feel like it's a compromise. It felt like a definitive choice.
Right.
So that's why, while I have my qualms about it, it's like, fair enough. I can't deny you that the ending fit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't do regicide because you ain't got no toes.
This is true.
Your mom kind of fucked you out of everything. Literally.
Yeah.
This was a her thing, not a you thing. What else are you going to do? Just take everything off.
Yeah.
You know? Let's get rid of this freaking tapeworm and enjoy life. You know?
Yeah. In a way, I guess it's sort of the happiest ending you could do.
Right. Like a ton of stuff coming off of your body. And you're like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, and like, I'm living for me, not for somebody else now.
Right. Yeah. And whatever happens, what may.
Yeah.
The end. Because that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know?
And other than that, good. I recommend it.
Where did you rate this?
Ooh, definitely in the 90s, I will say. It is
90s?
excellent.
90s?
Low 90s, high 80s, I would say.
How about 89?
I can do 89.
Okay. 89. Was there any graphic language? A bit.
Kinda.
A bit.
Because they're not like legitimate like swear words and stuff like that, what we call graphic, but there is like general like slut shaming and like all these little things. So
right. How much violence? A bit more.
More, yeah, because
it's self-violence, really.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like it's not like action scene; it's self-mutilation, basically.
And while we do have some outside violence in that, we only have like one or two scenes, so a bit more.
Yeah, and even then, it's like it's not like action scenes. It's surgeries. It's like cosmetic things. So it's like it's purposeful.
Is there nudity or sexual contact?
a bit more. Yeah,
A bit more. This was this went full out Borat check. There's just, bits and pieces.
Yeah, naked bodies, like the 1 or 2 scenes of fucking, but that's about it.
That it, yeah. Is it family friendly?
No,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
no. The
Come on,
fuck
it's
is wrong with you?
Cinderella. It's so great for the whole family.
Oh, God. Oh, okay, so we're doing the Grimm fairy tales family friendly. Fuck off, no.
I love
I'm sorry, but no. You want to traumatize your children and give them eating disorders? Because that's how you do it.
yeah, that's how you're gonna do it. And finally, the entertainment value.
There's a lot, I would say.
A lot. There's a lot of entertainment in this.
Because like I said, the pacing is weird, especially towards the end, but it does hook you in, and you're not complaining. So there is a lot. There is a lot of entertainment value.
Would you say stunt show entertainment or car crash entertainment?
A little bit of car crash, because like you have the thing again. It's that feeling of, oh no, what are you doing? Oh no! Oh no!
You just can't look away.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you look at the poor thing and you're like, sweetie, I want to give you a hug and a slap, because what the fuck what are you doing here, love? What are you doing? Again, that is the most like dead mother, like Nona I've ever felt in my goddamn life watching this movie.
Right. I hear you. To me, it's more stunt show. Yeah, you can look away if you want, but you're looking at some stupid shit someone's doing to themselves voluntarily.
True, I can see that. Because like it's preventable.
Right.
Unlike a car crash would just kind of happen.
It just happens. Yeah. It's gruesome, but you can't look away.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And with our scale, would you like to see it into theaters at the time? Buy the physical media. Watch it on streaming, for which you already did, but still. Or forget this altogether.
I'm not gonna lie, I would like to have this on Blu-ray. Because I'm not gonna lie, I wonder how much the grain of like on like a Blu-ray it like affects the grain out of curiosity. Because it's definitely digital.
Right.
But it's whether it's a filter or like maybe they shot on actual cameras, I don't know. But it's very pretty especially with certain shots.
Of course,
like
yeah.
I love specifically like the beginning with the funeral with the fog kind of rolling in on to the castle, and it's like those are some very pretty shots.
Yes. I definitely like when she barged in and told her mom they have no money.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful setup right there.
Yeah, it feels it feels very much like a Valerie in A Week of Wonders, or like Tom Jones, or like some of those movies from like 70s.
Yeah. Or a Memorial Tales.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely own Blu-ray for this.
Yeah, like if nothing, I will say it's Blu-ray, but if there is a chance you could see it in a theater, I would love to see this in a bigger screen.
Check this out in the theater.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. But because we have no time machine, I'm going to have to accept the Blu-ray.
Yeah, because we can't. Yeah, because we couldn't go to the festival circuit, and most of us found out about this movie because it went on Shudder.
Right.
So.
Anything else you'd like to add, Doctor?
No, just
not a Coca Bumper too.
No, it's mostly just this movie's good. Beauty and I, a beholder, and fuck the patriarchy. That's about it.
Okay. So, it's your choice now.
Okay. So, quick thing for us, folks. We're close to starting the Starlite proper.
Yes.
So this is going to be the last mini we do for a while.
This is the last mini we'll do for a while.
Yeah. So I thought there's a movie that I have thought about that me and you have talked about for the longest time.
Right.
About trying to talk about it at some point in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that the movie is on Tubi, which counts for this show.
Shouts out for Tubi.
So, Roy, I want to ask you, how do you feel about creepy teddy bears and monsters and troglodytes?
What do you mean a modern regular day in the boonies? Yeah, I could take it anytime. No problem.
All right, well, we head off. Technically, we head off to Washington, but it's also a Canadian production because tax credits. Long story. We get to Washington for 1981's The Pit.
The Pit. Definitely a good movie. I'm definitely down for that. Yes.
Yeah, speaking of awkward sex, holy shit.
There's a lot of awkward sex, yes. And we might as well do the social doc.
The most socials you can find me on is Blue Sky at Chaotic Doctor. For more general thoughts and stuff I've seen, I am on Critic List under Chaotic Doctor. You can find me there where I've talked about other general thoughts on movies. Some movies made some list, including one recently that we actually mentioned in the last review where I talked about Head. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to be doing more on there, especially because I have had moments where I wanted to do it. It's just life happens. If you want more podcast stuff with me, I am here on the Starlite, the Red Light, and of course, over the years, where I take Roy through a decade plus of hip hop music and see if it's worth the time and effort. Especially because, as of recently, we are coming back to that one as well. It's just that it's got. Again, we're kind of doing a flip flop of the schedules where 1 week we do Starlight, 1 week we do Over the Years. Sort of keep a variety for us.
Yes, keep it fresh.
Yeah. And also, if you want to check out some of the other stuff on Wolfman Productions, I can be found on Anna Monday, Late to the Media Party, Late to the Murder Party. Late to the Media Party sounds like you're converting someone from VHS to Blu-ray. Like, what?
This week, we talk about the Sony VHS 142.
Oh, God.
How its double heads inspired a revolution.
That sounds like a podcast me and you would do.
I've forgotten so much technical lore. I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But anyway. I wouldn't mind talking once in a while about it.
Yeah. And on Monday, we've also done the Game Den, which we're starting that back up. And yeah, just general, if you want to hear my thoughts on other things, again, we'll send productions on Podbean, Blue Sky, Critical List, all that stuff. And Roy, care to where they can find the rest of us?
You can find me on the Starlight, the Red Light, OTEP, over at Wolf's Productions at Podbean.com. You got some love mail, some hate mail, some Cinderella mail, some self-actualization mail, some early plastique mail, some Dead Dads We Leave in Rooms mail. Send it to Starlight Podcast at protonmail.com. You can also find us at Twitter at capital R, capital L, capital P, capital S, Starlight, SRLP, Starlight, coming live and at you. Give us some recommendations, some commendations. We love to hear from you. Give us a hi. I understand the world is a busy place, but just drop a hello, and I'd love to hear from you. I'm also on Critic List under Wolfman Run, doing some reviews like this and some lists coming at you day in, day out. I'm working on a big project. I'm going to hold that thought. And with that being said, put your radios back on the poles. Turn your high beams on and follow the street signs to the proper exit. It's nice hearing you. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
So, Roy, when do you want me to order the creepy teddy bears?
Oh, it's going to take a week, so do it now. Don't do it from Amazon. Do it from like AliExpress.
Oh, you get the real like ghetto looking teddy bear?
Yes.
All
the more ghetto, the more creepier.
All right.
Bye.